Hello everyone. I don't really know how to intro this because I'm really only making this because I felt like making this video about this deck would be easier than writing down a deck list of 50 different cards and why I play them and how many of each I play and all that stuff, because I know some people that wanted to know like this list, so I figured just making this video would be easier. So anyway, I started playing this deck recently. Haven't lost with it yet. I actually haven't dropped a game, which is kind of insane. I think it's a pretty good deck. I've seen variations of it. It's the Son Goku leader, Super Saiyan 3, the one that on the front says if you have no mana, you can ditch a card and charge 2 from your life, and then on the back, both sides say you can only have a max of up to 6 energy. I guess I'll say energy instead of mana. I guess it is energy. You can only have a max of 6 energy, which is not really a downside. And at the end of every one of your turns while you're awakened, you can untap any 3 energy you want. Pretty strong effect. Really, really good leader. So, it's mostly Saiyans in this deck, and it is a blue-green variant. I've seen a lot of variants of this deck that play just like mono colors. I don't think that's correct. I think blue is like unironically the best color in the game. It really does have some of the most amazing support cards in the game, and I think it should be played in pretty much every deck that can play it. So I guess we'll start off. We got 4 Trunks Bridge to the Future. This is just for the consistency of the deck. It's a 1-drop that lets you search the top 2 cards of your deck, ditch 1, and add a Saiyan from among them to your hand. It's pretty good. It almost never whiffs because almost everything in this deck is a Saiyan. So actually, I've never whiffed this card. I've whiffed, I'm thinking of Kaba. I've whiffed Kaba like once or twice, but this card I've never whiffed, which is kind of funny. Kaba searches top 10, this searches top 2, so yeah, this card's pretty consistent. It's really important for the deck. It's a good card. Also, foils of it are like $13. It sucks. Never gonna get them. Anyway, 4 Bundle of Curiosity Son Goku. Pretty much a green staple for a long time. It only costs 1 green. 2 costs 10k drop, draw a card. Just adds to the consistency of the deck and draws you into stuff that you need. It's pretty generic. It's good. I actually killed somebody with this once when I swung with all my threats and they defended, but they had no cards in hand and their only battle card was tapped, so I just swung with this and comboed it up to 70k and was, yeah, they couldn't get out of it. It was pretty hilarious. But yeah, Bundle of Curiosity. Pretty standard stuff so far. And then we play the Veggie package, which is also pretty standard for green. I'm missing a Kaba, Eat Me, it's the cheapest one. So the 4 Kaba, 4 Kale, and then the 4 Caulifla. This package is just insane, especially since you can charge 2 energy turn 1 because of your leader effect. If you hit 2 green and you play a Kaba turn 1, you hit a Caulifla, you're already so far ahead of your opponent, it's not even funny. So much of the deck relies around this package because not just Kale removing stuff, but also the fact that she has critical makes her one of your main threats, and the critical really, really helps. Not to mention her draw. A lot of the times you can kind of empty your hand and play 2 Kales and then swing with them to draw with both of them, and then play all your other cards that make you draw to just kind of refill your hand and get a bunch of threats on the board. It's really good. And Caulifla is just amazing. There have been so many times where I'll have 2 Kabas on board and I'll just start dropping Cauliflas for free because I know I'm going to kill him that turn, so I don't mind taking the extra life. Helps you awaken. This whole package is just amazing. I think every green deck should be playing it, unless like you're playing a specific like mono green Broly deck. I don't think a Broly deck would necessarily need that package. It wouldn't be bad, but I think like that's the only green deck you shouldn't be playing it in. Then for kind of the spice of the deck, it is a good card and a lot of people know about it, but this card is incredible in this deck. So you can play like 1 or 2 of these a turn. You can mana them or energy them if, you know, you don't really need them at the time. You play 4 of them. This card is amazing. This is like kind of your win condition, because not because it in itself is a threat, but it clears the way for your threats. For anyone who doesn't know what this card does, it basically says if it swings at a leader card, your opponent has to discard a card. It's an auto and it has 15k and it's 3 cost, 1 green. So what makes this card so amazing is if you have threats on board, you can play like 2 or 3 of these in a turn. And yes, I said 2 or 3 even though you only have 6 energy. Trust me, it happens. And you can start swinging into your opponent with these and literally just make them use every card in their hand just to stop these. And then you can start swinging with your actual threats like Kale and the other Gotenks, and you can really just start putting in damage, and this card really enables you to not only keep your advantage, but just make your opponent waste so many cards. It kind of sticks to the board because, yeah, it's a good card that they're going to want to kill when it's rested, but Also, a lot of the time, by the time you start getting these out, your opponent's looking to end the game anyway, and this deck has such good defense that chances are they're not going to be able to kill you. So they won't kill you, and they'll leave this on the board for you to keep taking cards out of their hand. So, yeah, total MVP. Like, this card is amazing in the deck. I'm really glad I put it in on the word of a friend of mine who said I should play it. Then 2 Gohan. In my opinion, the card's just necessary. Sometimes you need to kill stuff that's higher than 5, and this is the card that does it. It's 4 cost, it has critical, it's just an all-around really good card. A lot of people are saying it's slow for the format. Yeah, I guess that's true. It is kind of slow for the format, but it's also just a really good generic card in green, and I think it's necessary to play it. And I mean, I'm not playing 4 of it, I'm playing 2 of it. I think 2 is like what you should max out on, because you do need to see it, but most of the time Kale is enough. So, I can, like, really dig for this when I need it and just hope both of them aren't lifed, which has happened. And then, for the final green card of the deck, the biggest threat, Super Saiyan Gotenks. A timeless card. Tap 5, play it, auto triggers, you untap 2, you draw a card. Especially good in this deck because you also untap 3 at the end of your turn. I guess there's synergy there, because, like, if you untap 2 to play, or untap 2 after paying 5, and then you untap 3 at the end of your turn, that's your 5 mana right back. But I never really see it that way. I play this, I untap 2, and then all of my cards that are blue that I have for untapping my own energy, I use in conjunction with this to untap everything, and then maybe play another one of these, maybe just play more threats. I never use my untap cards defensively, like Senzu Bean or anything like that. I use all of them offensively to make my board huge in, like, one turn, a turn like 4 maybe. I'll make my board huge, and then I'll have a few cards left in my hand to defend myself with, because as I'm making my board huge, I'm drawing so much because of stuff like Bundle of Curiosity and Trunks and taking cards from Life from Caulifla and drawing for this and drawing for Kale. Like, by the time you make your board huge, you still have cards left in your hand to defend yourself with, and then your leader untaps your mana, and you have mana to defend yourself with. It's just insane. So now on to the blue cards. Not as many as there are green, but still a pretty good amount. 4 Boost Attack Piccolo. This card is amazing. I really, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but the reason I'm playing it over Kibito is just because I like it a little bit more. I don't think Kibito's a bad card. I really don't. I notice a lot of people that play Piccolo are like, Kibito's bad, don't play Kibito. I don't think that. I think Kibito's fine. I just like this card more. It's just simple, to the point. It's a good card. It's your super combo, of course. Then, probably the most important blue card in the deck, Raging Spirit Son Gohan. So, pretty much every deck you've seen of Super Saiyan 3 Goku plays 4 of the combo and then play them battle cards. With good reason. This card is free in this deck. You untap 3 at the end of your turn when you're awakened. You can just keep comboing with these over and over again to save yourself. And on top of that, because I play so much blue in this deck, a lot of the times turn 1 I'll hit like 1 blue and 1 green, and unless I have like a Bundle of Curiosity or something, I won't really have much to do on my first turn. And even more so if I only hit, if I hit 2 blue and no green. Cards like this and cards like the other blue cards I have really help you just not die. Because turn 1, I'm fine just going, pitch a card, charge 2 from life, oh look, they're both blue, pass. Go ahead, try to hit me, and I'm going to combo with this, and then I'm going to combo with this, or I'm going to negate your attacks, or I'm going to let you hit me and get closer to Awakening. I mean, basically, like, after turn 1, when you charge your 2, your opponent's going to be kind of hesitant to hit you because you're already down to 6 life. And if they hit you with anything that has like double strike or anything, they're going to awaken you. And if they hit you once, they're going to put you down to 5, and then you can play Caulifla and awaken. So really, cards like this are just super good. I don't know, this card's amazing in this deck. It's so free, it gives you so much board presence. And then, very important cards, your untap cards. So, once again, obviously this is never used defensively because you can only play it on your turn, but neither is this. None of these are used defensively. These are all about giving yourself more plays to make. There was a point in the game where I had 6 energy, and I used 3 Senzu Beans and 2 of these in one turn, and I made my board huge. I did so much, and because while I was playing those cards were letting me draw more, I still had like 2 coercions in my hand for the next turn. I untapped 3 at the end of my turn, so not only did I make him lose a bunch of cards in my hand and gain a bunch of cards to my hand and my board, but I had stuff to defend myself with, which is just the power of this deck and what these cards enable you to do by just giving you, basically letting you cheat your only max of 6 energy during your turn. This is just letting you cheat that, so it doesn't really matter. The highest drop in your deck is a 5 drop, so these really help the deck a lot. And then a few of the last cards, we have 2 Mafuba and 4 Coercion. A lot of people don't like this card. I don't want to name any names, but but a lot of people don't like this card, Mafuba. I cannot say how many times this card has come in clutch. I was playing against a mirror match, like same leader, but they were playing the Ultra Instinct variant, and I Mafuba'd their Ultra Instinct Goku, and it was like the best feeling I've ever had. We Mafuba'd each other like 4 times a game because we were just both playing it because it's so free with this leader. You untap 3, so you can have 2 mana for Mafuba, and you can still have 1 for Coercion. How you want to play this deck is, like, if you draw any of your Gohans, or any of your negates in your opening hand, do not mulligan them. Keep them in your hand, because what you'll more consistently do is... The thing that's unlikely to happen in this deck is that you hit 2 green off your life and turn 1 Kaba. Is that the optimal play? Yes, but is it what's most likely to happen? No. What's most likely to happen is you're going to want to keep your negates and your Mafuba and your Gohans just in case, like, your opponent hits you with early crit damage that you don't want to take, and you have the mana early game to defend yourself with it, and you just kind of defend yourself until you have, like, 3 mana, and then you blow up. You absolutely blow up with, like, 3 or 4 mana in this deck. It's absolutely insane. So, really, that's like the correct way to play this. These cards are super important in the way that you always want to see these in your hand. Like, specifically these, you really want negates. The only thing I could say is I guess you could change Mafuba for the black negate, which would also just, I mean, be fine, I guess, but this is blue, and it kind of makes the deck more consistent, because if you hit 1 off your life, it's a blue energy and not a black, so I guess there's room for improvement here, but I really like this the way it is. And your negates, basically your defensive plays are just as important as your offensive plays. This deck, rather than like being a mecha deck that just goes all out and attacks your opponent, has a really good balance between defense and offense. Last card of the deck, Thought Patrol Trunks. My god, this is my Faith +1 card. I always see this card in my hand. I play 1 of these, I've never lifed it, I always draw it like turn 1 or turn 2, and it always gets me into a card that I need. I love this card. Should it be Scientist Fu? Yes, but Scientist Fu isn't a Saiyan. I mean, like, I have one, but it's not a Saiyan, and it's not Thought Patrol Trunks. I mean, just, this card's awesome, and this card loves me, and it always finds its way to my hand, so that's why I only play 1 of them. I mean, realistically, this slot could be anything. It probably should be a Scientist Fu. If you're going to build this list, this should probably be a Scientist Fu, but this card's always been good to me. So the last thing I want to talk about in terms of this deck is a side deck, a start to a side deck, because I haven't been playing this deck for super long, but I've also never lost with this deck, so a side deck and potential other tech choices. So first, potential side deck cards. This is for people who lifestyle you and won't let you awaken. If you need an alternate way to awaken, this is the Bardock promo that says Overwhelm 4, take a life, warp something 5 or less. It's pretty straightforward. It helps you awaken for the people that leave you at 5. This and these cards, in my opinion, should be side decked if you are playing green in this format, no matter what. This is amazing against apes because, you know, Revenge gets around blocker. This card's just really good, and it's only 1 green, which is, like, super free in this deck. And this is also, like, super free in this deck. In fact, if somebody was maining this, I wouldn't fault them for it, because you could probably take out, like, the untapped Trunks to put this in. It would be more green to make your green engine a little more consistent, like hitting it off your life, and it gives you an automatic out main decked to kill stuff like Kaba and Caulifla and whatnot. So this card, is super good. I might actually main deck this over the untapped Trunks, but I'm not completely sure because the untapped Trunks just enables like so many plays. But regardless, I think these 6 cards should definitely always be side decked. And this one, I main decked it for a while and I didn't really like it. I hit it off my life once and it was like horrible, and I never played it. I never actually overwhelmed for this card one time. It was always just a 5k combo. I never had trouble awakening even like without playing this, so it was meh. And then one more interesting thing I want to talk about for anybody that's interested in playing this deck is this Trunks from set 1. Double Strike, Revenge, you evolve it on top of your Trunks, your 1-drop Bridge to the Future Trunks for 3 mana, and what it does is it says when a card evolves into it, you get to go into your discard pile, add any card from it back to your hand. So not only does it have inherent value with Trunks Bridge to the Future, since you have to discard the other card that you revealed off, or that you looked at off the top of your deck, not only does it have inherent synergy with that card, but it also has Double Strike and Revenge, which Revenge is really, really good in this format. So it's like another threat you could put on board. I want to try to find room for this. This card is really good, and I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity to people that are playing this deck, because a lot of people that are playing this deck are playing 4 of this card, and I've never even seen this card mentioned. And for 3 mana, a card that has Double Strike, Revenge, and nets you a card, potentially like a super combo or a sensu bean to advance your plays, is like, it just seems really good. So I really want to try to find room for this. But yeah, this video ended up being longer than I wanted it to. Let me know what you think of the deck. Let me know what you would change, I guess. Like I said, I just kind of made this because I was too lazy to make an actual like text list. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, later.